In Buddhism, the act of giving is just central. But what if I told you that some acts of giving are way, way better than others? We're about to dive into a really fundamental teaching from the Buddha that raises a huge dilemma: how to give wisely and where, or maybe in whom, our ultimate faith should really lie.
So, a lot of us see giving alms as a core part of our practice, right? It's how we show generosity and make merit. But does every single act of giving actually have the same spiritual impact? Is a donation just a donation, no matter who gets it? The answer might actually surprise you.
Well, according to the Buddha's own words, the answer is a clear, resounding no. And that brings us to the core idea for today, the principle of giving only to those who are truly worthy of our support. And the Buddha was super direct about this. He taught that we have to use our judgment. I mean, just look at the difference here. You give to a deserving recipient, and the result is great merit, a huge benefit. But give to someone who is undeserving, the spiritual benefit is minimal. The action might feel exactly the same, but wow, the outcome is just worlds apart. And to make sure this point was absolutely impossible to miss, the Buddha used this incredibly powerful analogy. He didn't just state the principle, he painted this really vivid picture of the consequences. And this is what's known as the hemp bark cloth warning. I mean, listen to the Buddha's own words here. They're pretty stark. He's warning that if you provide the four essentials, robes, food, lodging, medicine, to monks who are undeserving, it will bring you no great result, no great merit. It's so unambiguous. So why is the benefit so small? Well, the analogy he used makes it all crystal clear.
Okay, so the Buddha compared supporting unworthy monks to owning a cloth made of rough hemp bark. Think about it. First, it's painful to wear, right? So associating with them just brings you distress. Second, it has an unappealing color. The connection is spiritually unwholesome. Third, it has low value. The act itself just doesn't generate much merit. And finally, it becomes trash, used to wipe out pots, and then just tossed away. Your support ultimately becomes pretty meaningless.
So this whole idea of being careful who you support, it leads to an even bigger, more profound, and honestly, a more challenging question. It forces a choice about the very foundation of your faith. What do you do when the words of a monk, or even the entire monastic community, seem to conflict with the words of the Buddha himself? It all boils down to this one question. When the teachings are in conflict, who do you believe? Do you trust the institution, the monks and nuns representing the faith today, or do you go straight back to the original source, the Buddha himself?
And the teaching here is just unequivocal. The Buddha's word is the ultimate authority. His teaching comes before everyone and everything else. We're not just talking about monks and nuns, but all lay people, and even celestial beings like gods or Brahma. In any dispute, the ultimate reference point is always, always the Buddha.
And this isn't just some abstract, theoretical idea. This is a principle that was backed up by the Buddha's own clan, the Sakyas. They made it completely clear that if they were ever forced to choose between the Buddha on one side and the entire community of monks on the other, their loyalty would be with the Buddha. Full stop. And like I said, this isn't just theory. There's a real-world example from the ancient city of Kasambi that shows this principle in dramatic action. So here's what went down. A group of monks in Kasambi got into this really bitter argument. The Buddha himself actually intervened, telling them to reconcile, but they refused to listen to him. So, faced with this defiance, what did the lay community do? They made their choice. They sided with the Buddha, and they immediately withdrew all support. No food, no alms, no help whatsoever from those defiant monks. They put the teaching directly into practice. So, after looking at this dilemma of worthy giving and ultimate authority, what's the solution? What is the unshakable foundation for a practitioner's faith? The solution is found in the specific concept, Tathagata Achala Sata. It means placing one's unwavering, unshakable, and absolute faith directly in the Tathagata, that is, the Buddha. It means your faith isn't dependent on any individual monk or nun or institution, but it's anchored firmly in the Buddha and his original teachings. That is the bedrock that resolves the dilemma. Which leaves all of us with a final, really reflective question. It's one for anyone on a spiritual path to consider. When you strip away all the traditions, the institutions, and the personalities, what is the ultimate foundation of your belief? Where does your faith truly lie?